federal government's proposed tax reforms targeting tax imposition on free trade zones, the Nigerian Association of Chambers and Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, or NACCIM for short, has sounded the alarm, warning that the decision could drive away more than $200 billion in foreign direct investment from the country, as well as jeopardize over 600,000 jobs. The contentious provisions outlined in the Nigerian Tax Bill 2024 seeks to introduce minimum tax rates and remove long-standing tax exemptions for businesses operating within free trade zones, a move seen as contradicting Nigeria's industrialization and investment objectives. For a deeper outlook on this development, we're now being joined by Dele, the president of National Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, and chairman, the Organized Private Sector of Nigeria. Would like to find out from him how the proposed tax can impact government's revenue drive concurrently with the need to execute development projects. Well, good morning and thank you, Mr. Oye, for joining us on the morning show this morning. I mean, great thing your association is doing by highlighting these concerns. I mean, you know, your association has claimed that over $200 billion will be in jeopardy if these, majorly private businesses are being taxed. I mean, how did you come up with that figure? And, especially given the fact that you're even saying about 600,000 jobs would be lost.
Well, thank you very much. Yes. Good morning. These figures are not mine. They originated from the NEMSA. We just had a conference.
They originated
from NEMSA. That is the Non-Oil Export Processing Zone Authority. We just had the third national conference of the NESA Association. That is the association of all the companies in the free trade zone. We just had the conference, and I was a speaker there. This was one of the offerings. That these data came out of the conference. Coming to the issue of the new tax, I would want to go first to how the free trade zone started in Nigeria. Because it's a global concept. It's not unique to Nigeria. It's one of the ecosystems which we use to attract foreign direct investment, where you offer incentives. And the current incentives in Nigeria is under Section 8 and 18 of the NEMSA Act. A similar provision is also under the OXA Act, which regulates the oil and gas free trade zones. What it says is it stops all form of taxation from both the national and the subnational. There's no any tax relating to the activities. But if then the government also provide regulation where they can also sell part or substantial part of their goods, if it is 35%, if they do 35% of local production input into that good, they can sell in the customs area. That is, it started with 25%, subsequently was reviewed to 100%. So this is the current position. But the current tax act is revoking those sections, has deleted it, and is offering a new relationship. What we are saying, first of all, is starting from the point of consultation, the Presidential Fiscal Committee and Tax Committee only just met formally with this sector only on the 20th of February. Someone that has an investment, they just met with them officially. In fact, on national television, the chairman of that committee confessed that they did not meet with them, that they went to the ministry. If someone has done an investment, private investment of $200 billion, officially acknowledged by NEMSA, and this person is operating your economy, that is 5 times your current budget. It is bigger than your current GDP. You just treat the person aside as if it's irrelevant, and you show up a week to when you're about to pass the bill to say, this is our new law. You see, what we are saying, this will be the biggest somersault, policy somersault, because all these investments were induced by the previous law. And people have made their financial and business model on that. And these are private sectors. Government only, out of the over 50 free trade zones, government only owns 2. Can you imagine Nigeria without Eco Atlantic or Dangote refinery? Look at what they are doing. By now, we will not have Victoria Island if they did not make that unique investment. Now you are saying, you are also tying that for you to even enjoy this thing, you must be exporting. Is equivalent to go to export sand? I would not look at our energy security with the Dangote refinery. So what we are saying is, you need to engage more. Government has done a good job with the new tax laws. It's going to make it digital. A lot of work is going to. We are not saying you should stop it. The way out of this is to engage more with the sector. Let's jointly agree on what will work. I know there are issues. There are issues of some criminal conduct, of some people trying to take advantage of their being in the free trade zone. They try to sell illegally within Nigeria. This, you cannot punish a whole village because one person has committed a crime or two. So it is not bringing a new law or suspending the law. What we need to do is to give them some time to inform their own investors, their partners, change their financial model, change their business model. There are two ways out of this. One is either you suspend the law as it affects the free trade zone now, maybe for a period of 10 or to 15 years, to allow us to have this discussion and now incorporate this in a proper new NEBSA law or OXA Act. Because if you continue to go the way we are going, you are leaving them with no options. And these people can move anytime, I can tell you that.
All right, Mr. Oye, thanks for this very useful background. But then, can you explain to us a little bit more in detail if the federal government proceeds to pass the law, as it is projected, and the exemption, tax exemption for the free trade zone is removed, how will it directly affect the stakeholders that you're worried about? In what financial terms, in what specific ways will it affect the $200 billion investment and nearly 600,000 jobs that you refer to? I know that this will be like in direct contravention of Section 8 of NEBSA Act,
yes,
which clearly stipulates that exemption should be granted. But then if the government proceeds, and I like the fact that it is business owners, it is investors that are sounding the alarm now, not just northern governors or people who might have political interest. So my point therefore will be, yes, a move has been made towards engagement. What will happen if the engagement with the committee fails and the law is passed in the way that it is?
One good thing about capital, that it goes to where it is welcomed. The moment you change your rules, these guys are not begging. In fact, countries are going to use this law to come and market them and even offer them cost of relocation. Anytime you try to make a law, the first thing you must think of, what is the offerings of my neighbors? What are the alternatives people will do? This is our selling point. You are taking away. All the promises Mr. President has been making since, they are taking it away. Mr. President cannot, what will he now use to trade? If our neighbors are offering better, they will go. So it's not, nobody is tied to your country. These guys have come here to invest. Like you said, Section 8 provides that the Nigerian Export Processing Act says approved enterprise operating within a zone shall be exempted from all federal, state and government taxes and levies and rates. The current law did not exempt them from state and other levies. So just imagine the chaos when our different state subnationals will descend on every free trade zone in their region. How can you compete? How can you even be able to offer it as a landscape for free? It will no longer be a free trade zone. It will be a tax zone. This is what we're going to come out of this. Like I've told you, these people are not just, and the law they've carefully drafted, the Section 18 of the old Act, also 18.1a, says the Nigerian Export Processing Zones Act, legislative provision pertaining to taxes, levies, duties, and foreign exchange regulations shall not apply within the zones. What they are offering now, the equivalent, is not couched in this way. You can't domicile your trade and investment law in a tax law. That is not how to do. Look, what Section 57 of the current tax law, it says, notwithstanding any provision of this act or any other enactment, where in a year of assessment, the effective tax rate of a company is less than 15%. Such a company shall compute and pay an additional tax that makes it effective tax rate of 15%. What is it automatically? Once this law is passed, you must pay 15% tax if you are in the free trade zone. Then Section 60 says, where a trade or business is carried on by an approved enterprise in an export processing zone or a free trade zone, the provision of the second schedule of this act shall apply. What does that provision say? Section 198.2 now annuls Section 18.1 of the NEMSA Act. So what I'm saying all this is the offerings under this law, because the argument that we are not taking away anything that you currently enjoy. It's not true. You have added state government tax now by your own law. Then secondly, you have also tied ability to enjoy anything under this act to export. So I'm going to ask a co-Atlantic how much cartons of sand they are going to be exporting to be able to. So they entirely, you have just moved them back into the customs area. And that is not the way to go. Even if that is the intention, government has a right to change the rules of the game. Give them enough time, engage with them, use their ideas and your ideas to form something that will work for all of us. And most importantly, make Nigeria competitive as a destination for investment. So this is what we are saying. We are taking away our competitiveness. We are turning the rules of the game. And the fact that you didn't even engage with this body until just last week. This is the challenge.
Okay, if I can come in here, this conversation, of course, started because this current administration is looking for a way to, of course, increase its incoming revenue. Now, many Nigerian free trade zones are privately developed and have already contributed about 650 billion naira in custom duties and related economic activities. Would you say that the government is currently undervaluing the existing contributions from these zones? And then secondly, with what has happened now, the free trade zone scheme was established under the Nigerian Export Processing Act as far back as 1992. How do we see this leading to lawsuits or even arbitration cases from investors who already made commitments based off of a model that was signed into law before they came into the free trade zones here in Nigeria?
Naturally. NIPC has granted pioneer status, which this current law has taken away. So if you induce the investment and people have taken positions, naturally they are going to sue both the NEMSA and NIPC, and indirectly the Attorney General of the Federation, because you have made people to make an investment, and the investment has already come. Then you suddenly, without notice, you change the rules. The people have a right to claim damages. And we don't want to go into all this. We should all be pulling in one direction. Yeah. The time we spend in advocating lawsuits, we just came out of P&D. You want to enter another one again? So what we are saying is, if you induce an investment based on the law, if you need to change the law, which is government prerogative, the first thing to do is to engage the people and see what will work for both parties. Government has a right to change the law, but you must give the people some time. They need time to recalibrate their business model. This is what we are saying. You cannot just change the rules. This will be the highest policy of assault in the whole world.
Is there a precedent anywhere else outside of Nigeria where you move free trade zone?
Like I've told you, the free trade zone concept is not a local concept.
Absolutely.
We copied it from abroad.
Yeah.
We should behave like that. I'm not saying we should be the same. We will make it unique to Nigeria. That is why the offerings were under the NEMSA Act. If you need to change, you have to tell the people, in 5, 10, 15 years' time, this will be the rules that will follow. You guys readjust. I'm not saying government can change, but give them time. If not, you are going to scare away these guys, and we'll have chaos.
Was that point made to Taiwo Dele, who's the chair of the presidential committee?
He appeared before. Even we at NASIMA, we didn't have the benefit of him coming to consult us. NASIMA is the largest business organization in Nigeria. I have over 100 chambers of commerce. One of my members, like Lagos Abuja Chamber, is far bigger than any other private sector organization in Nigeria. So if I have 72 city and state chambers with our broad objective, he did not consider NASIMA to consult us, to even come to us. I only have a 5-minute Zoom opportunity when I barged into the Zoom in one of his presentations. So what I'm trying to say, yesterday on the 20th was the first time I was meeting Mr. Oyedele for the first time when he was making a presentation. I did not ask any question because it would have been unfair to him if I have to ask too many questions. Because I have my own channel of this. I have told him that this thing cannot work. Being a tax expert does not make you an entrepreneur. Right. You can write the rules, but you don't. The ability to pay is the highest form of tax. Tax is not the punishment. It's an instrument for economic development. They ought to Look at that, trade facilitation. It's not to punish people. People have come, risk everything. Brought their money, borrowed under different terms based on your current law.
And already contributed to the...
And already contributing. We are talking about Japa. Look, some of the unique things that have happened in Nigeria in the last 15 years happened in the free trade zone.
All right.
You need to go into that ecosystem. You will not believe you are in Nigeria.
All right.
So what we are saying all this is we should not lose our competitiveness. Nigeria can still win it. Right. Look at what our neighbors are offering so that when you are making any law, make sure you tailor it so that we can be able to compete. And we want to offer Nigeria as a destination that retains investment and also for innovation and also to attract new ones. So this is what we are saying. Government has a right. Give the people some time.
All right. All about economic development. We'd like to thank you, Mr. Dele Oye, for joining us on the morning show this morning.